Good morning. And today's Mother's Day, 2025. Great day. Uh, what I'm trying to show you is Chicago and the North Shore of Chicago. So I'm going to start out with a little bigger map and show you some places that no matter where you move to in Chicago, you're going to need to know about a few places. Now, with that being said, Chicago is the third largest city in the United States, followed by New York and Los Angeles. So here's Chicago, right down here. Now it's much bigger than this. And so all these little areas you see on the map, like Lincoln Park or Oak Park or Bridgeport or Chinatown, these are all part of Chicago and Chicago Metro. Now, when you get up to here, okay, right here, and we go all the way even across, let's just see how far we could do this. We're talking about suburbs that are considered in the North and North Shore, and they go all the way up um, to the Wisconsin border. Okay. Now, the second important place that people are going to need to know where it's at is O'Hare Field. So O'Hare Field is right here. Now, there is a second airport, which is further south, um, probably around here somewhere, but we're not going to, is Midway Airport. So people who are staying in the north suburbs are not going to Midway Airport. It's too far, it's too difficult to get to. But I want to point out some of the towns that are part of the North Shore and and uh, and some suburbs that are very popular as well. So we're going to be mentioning Skokie. Now, with the population of 2.664 million people in Chicago Metro, which includes all the suburbs and everything else, there's over 9 million people. And when I'm talking about these North Shore suburbs, which are Skokie, Evanston, they all have a population which I'll give you. Winnetka, Northfield, Wilmette, Glencoe, Northbrook, Glenview, Deerfield, and Highland Park. Now there's 350,000 people, 6, 8, 10 in these 10 suburbs. But there are other suburbs that are really important. I'm not going to talk a lot about them, but they're very key and very important. Great suburbs you could live in. So let's take a look in a third color of orange of what these suburbs are. Now, there's a certain standard for these 10 suburbs, which would be tons of shopping, a lot of grocery stores, really good schools, safety, easy transportation to the city or to the airport. There's metro trains, there's expressways, there's all kinds of things. But there are some other suburbs that I would help you with. Now, this is the area I work in, so where else would I tell you to go? Someone might want Morton Grove, or they might want Niles. A top suburb is Park Ridge right here. Okay. Des Plaines is really an up and coming, and there's train stations in every one of these cities, Mount Prospect. And I've sold in every one of these cities. And I've been a real estate broker for 27 years, so there's a good chance I've sold in more than just the cities I'm showing you. There is times I go into Chicago to sell, and there is times Riverwood's fabulous suburb, very high end. Um, Wheeling's on the other side, Buffalo Grove, Long Grove, great suburb, Palatine, Schaumburg, which is a very large suburb, Hoffman Estates. Now, there's about 5 areas of Barrington. Okay, there's South Barrington, there's Barrington Hills, there's North Barrington, and North Barrington would be somewhere around here. Okay, for those who want to buy larger houses and get a lot of land, Barrington's the place right up here. I'm a big Barrington guy. Okay, because I know what people want, and when they want big houses. Now I'm talking 6, 7, 8,000 square feet, and I'm talking land, maybe 2 acres, 5 acres, 7 acres, or maybe they want also a horse farm, but they don't have to have a horse farm, but it would be part of a horse farm. Now, the tendency for most people is they don't want necessarily these huge houses and a lot of land to take care of, but there's still a percentage of people who do. And I love going into Barrington and looking at Barrington houses and selling Barrington houses. It's a great area, wonderful area. Now, let's take a look at some areas that you could see on the map that aren't necessarily areas that I go to, which would be um, any of these south suburbs, and there's many more than what you see, and southwest suburbs. They're very much out of my area, okay? And I don't go there. Now, I'll go there if I have to go there, but I don't want to go there. So I may pick an agent who is more familiar with these areas and have them help you go there. But the North Shore and the North Suburbs, which is all up here, knowing where Chicago is, knowing where O'Hare Field is. These are key parts of Chicago. So let's take a look at the North Shore of Chicago. The first suburb is Skokie, and Skokie is right here. Now, what I also did is I put in certain things that are in Skokie. Now, I've already done videos of every single town that I'm showing you. You can go back on YouTube and take a look, and you'll get a lot more out of it. I'm going to go through certain things today. Like today, for instance, what I want to go through is where are these towns? So let's take a look at where these towns are. Now, this road here is called North McCormick Boulevard, okay? And by the way, I grew up in Skokie, and I've learned how to get around in Chicago. It's all numerical. You could give me an address anywhere in Chicago, in suburb, and I could tell you where it is. Not everyone can do that. It's a skill, but I know. So here's Skokie. Here are the border lines. It's kind of going up North McCormick Boulevard. Now, everything to the left is Skokie, and everything to the right is Evanston. But here's the way Skokie works. Goes here. Now, this is the border of Wilmette and Skokie right there. North is Wilmette. Little zigzaggy here. You go up to here. You can see some of the different hotels that are in Skokie. Not as many of the grocery stores, but there's plenty. Trust me. I can tell you about all the grocery stores, and I want to tell you about the grocery stores because there's Jewel and there's Sunset Food, and there's Aldi, which is becoming really big because the prices are so far down, you know, and we have a president who wants to jack the price up of everything. So this guy doesn't know what it costs. Has he ever been in a grocery store would be my question. He did a thing about Tesla on the White House lawn. He's never driven a car. He hasn't driven a car for a long time. What's the chances that Trump has been in a grocery store? We know he eats. That's not a problem. But has he actually been in a grocery store? I say not. But Aldi is becoming a huge. There's Mariano's. There's Best Farmers Market. There's Sunset. There's just so many that in every area there's going to be some kind of grocery store. But here's Skokie, and Skokie is a wonderful town. I want to say that I really like Skokie. I grew up in Skokie. Another thing is that there's hospitals everywhere. So there's a Skokie hospital. Mostly it's for people who are having knee replacements and hip replacements and shoulder replacements. It's a fabulous hospital, and there's plenty of hospitals really close to it. A couple of things I want to point out about Skokie is that, and as far as religion, I don't want to get too much into religion, but there's lots of churches in all these suburbs. There's also synagogues. Skokie was the start of some of the Holocaust survivors were living in Skokie. And back when I was young, the Nazis were marching to Skokie. They never got there, but and good for them that they never did. I don't think any Nazi should be in the United States of America. We fought a war, and they killed millions and millions of people, not just Jewish people, but all kinds of people. Those are not the kind of people we want in the United States, and certainly don't want them in the Chicagoland area or anywhere in the United States. The other thing about Skokie, which is so fabulous, is we have one of the greatest outdoor shopping malls that was started in 1956. I have it in red right now. It's Old Orchard. Let me change the color. So here again, here's Old Orchard, which I just circled. And the cool thing about Old Orchard, it has over 156 stores. It has over 100 offices that most are medical offices. There's 1,582,295 square feet of mall in Skokie, and there's over 7,600 parking spots all in Old Orchard, which I think is quite amazing myself. Okay, now the other thing about Skokie that some people would like to know about is that the Holocaust Museum. Now, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, which the first one was in Washington, D.C., is a powerful and comprehensive resource for understanding the Holocaust. It's a living memorial, not just to the victims, but also the resilience of humanity and the importance of confronting hatred and prejudice. So that's really important. And where is this mall? The Holocaust Museum is right off of Old Orchard Road, right in here. So to me, that's pretty important. Now, the other thing about Skokie is there's 64,937 people who live in Skokie, and the schools are rated 8 out of 10. And the median household income is $93,550. So there you got it, Skokie. It's probably an income at the bottom of the list. Okay. Next, Evanston is the second town. Evanston probably has the largest population of all the North Shore towns. There's over 75,070 people who live in Evanston. Evanston also is on Lake Michigan, and the other important part is that Northwestern University is part of Evanston. So you've got Northwestern, you've got downtown Evanston right in here. And let's take a look so you can see exactly the border lines of Evanston. So they come up here, they go up to the north, then they run along the lake to here, to Oakton Street, and then they go to Howard Street, and then it kind of follows McCormick, which we showed you before, where Skokie was on one side and Evanston's on the other. Actually, it goes right in here. So, all right, so this whole part here, forget this. I mean, it's okay to use this, but we won't. But there's Evanston. Evanston's just a sensational suburb. And again, there's obviously a lot of hotels because of all the people, because of Northwestern University is so important. You know, it's a Big Ten university. People love Northwestern. It's not for everybody. The better grades are the people who get into it. I might get into it. Also, Evanston has a fabulous hospital. Now, all the hospitals in the Chicagoland area that I'm going to be showing you are really, really tremendous hospitals. And we're very lucky to have so many wonderful hospitals. And as I find people moving from other cities and other towns, that's one of the things that seems to be extremely important, is having a lot of really great hospitals that you can go to. So again, when it comes down to things to do, there's every one of these suburbs has plenty. And the thing about it is one suburb is next to the next suburb, and the next suburb is north of that, and the next suburb is west of that, and the next suburb is east of that. And so if it doesn't have what you want, it has it right next to it. So when it comes to restaurants, when it comes to shopping, when it comes to anything for purchasing or just having fun or playing golf or winter sports, obviously it gets cold here, right? There's so much to do. And of course, if you're on the lake, that's even a bonus. So Evanston, as you can see, runs right on Lake Michigan. Thinking about relocating to Chicago, Illinois, and neighboring suburbs? Well, I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. And I've linked it down below, from top employees, the best hospitals, and a boatload of other things that you need to know before making the move. The best part of this guide, it's 100% free. That's right, you heard it right from me, 100% free. Just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment, and I hope that helps. In fact, I know it will help. Wilmette is the third suburb, which is right here. Now, one of the things I haven't mentioned yet are some of the, I want to say, some of the famous people who either live in these suburbs or were born in these suburbs, may not even be alive anymore, in Wilmette. And also he lives on the lake, is Todd Ricketts, which is the owner of the Cubs. Ex-mayor of Chicago, Rob Emanuel, lives in Wilmette. He's very famous. He's worked for Obama. He's a premier Democrat. There's born in Wilmette is Charlton Heston. That was Ben-Hur. Remember Ben-Hur? And another fabulous actress, I think she's still alive, is Anne Margaret. Now, the beauty of Wilmette, it's not a big suburb. It's only 26 people. It's got 10 for 10 for schools, and the median income is 222,000 people. But let's take a look where Wilmette is. So Wilmette comes right in here, and of course Wilmette has the beach and Lake Michigan, so you've got all this here. And now this is West Wilmette, goes down Lake Street. And of course, in this diagram, you can see some of the things that's in Wilmette. It has a historical museum, it's got lots of community parks, it has, of course, tons of grocery stores. Like here you see Whole Food. It has the and by the way, here was the in Skokie, this is Skokie, the Illinois Holocaust Museum, which I showed you before, which is off of Gulf and Old Orchard Road. The other things that are really big in Wilmette, probably one of the biggest things, is Bahá'í Temple, which is, let me just switch colors. I mean, Bahá'í Temple is absolutely a sensational place, which is right in here, okay? And Gilson Park, which is right next to it, which is also great, and Gilson Beach. So the beaches are places for all kinds of recreation. There's great sandy beaches. There's a great Gilson Park. It's huge. It's right on the lake, and Baha'i Temple is a place to worship. You know, Baha'i Temple is the oldest of all the Baha'i temples and is open to people to all races, cultures, nationalities, and religions. Baha'i Temple in Wilmette does not have a congregation made up of Baha'i. It's the North Shore of Chicago. Instead of Baha'i temples are built as gifts for all people to use for personal prayer and meditation. Inside the temple auditorium, the sacred writings of the world's religions are spoken, chanted, or sung. And it's just a place that you have to go. I mean, there's no question. Everyone goes to Baha'i Temple. One, it's gorgeous. Two, it's open to everybody. They don't throw you out based on your skin color, based on your religion, based on By the way, the Pope who just became the Pope is from Chicago, and I don't know if he's been to Baha'i Temple because he spent 20 years in Peru, so he may have or he may not. But if not, I guarantee his brother has. Now, the other thing about most of these North Shore suburbs is a very famous school, which is right here, New Trier Township. New Trier has a freshman campus in Wilmette, and then in Winnetka, they have a sophomore, junior, and senior campus. So there's about 5,500 kids there. It's a very, very big school and very prestigious. So it's a wonderful school. Again, there's lots of churches and synagogues, a lot more churches in this area than synagogues, that's for sure. And we're going to take a look at the next suburb, which is Kenilworth. So Kenilworth is a pretty small suburb of 2,400 people. And I am going to show you exactly the borderline here of Kenilworth. So here's Kenilworth right here. Again, it's a very, very small but wealthy suburb. There's only 2,400 people. Again, they go to New Trier High School. The median income is about $250,000. And you'll see by the land that it's a very small town. But it does take in part of the lake, which is always key for any of these towns. And then here, instead of it going too far west, it really takes Ridge Road right here, and that's it. So you've got Kenilworth Beach. You've got a lot of churches, or some of the bigger churches are in Kenilworth, and otherwise it's just a small suburb that very wealthy people live in. Again, they have New Trier High School, but we're only talking about 2,400 kids. So we're going to move on to our next suburb, which is going to be, so here's Winnetka. Winnetka is considered the #1 town in all of Chicagoland when it comes to suburbs. The population of Winnetka is about 12,292. The median income is $331,000. That's a pretty nice median income. Again, it's got everything you could want in Winnetka. It's got great shopping. It's obviously on the lake. I'm going to draw you where the area is, and then of course everything here. Winnetka goes into this area here. Winnetka Golf Club is right there, and then it goes straight north. Okay, and probably one of the most famous streets in all of the North Shore, which I'm going to point out, is Sheridan Road. And Sheridan Road just keeps going up. I'm going to give you an idea where Sheridan Road is, because Sheridan Road is famous for people going from Chicago and taking Sheridan Road through all these towns and seeing all the mansions that are on the lake. And I mean mansions. It's just an incredible road to drive and see what's here. Now the other thing that's quite important are things like there's the Skokie Lagoons, which is right in here. Waterways, places for people to sail to. I don't know if they don't allow swimming, but you can get on a boat, a small boat, okay? There's also, Winnetka has a tremendous area of parks. And in this park right here, Winnetka Golf Club, there's tennis facility, there's ice hockey facility. There's all kinds of facilities here, as there are all over the town of Winnetka. This is really mostly shopping right here. This is called Hubbard Woods. It's a shopping area with restaurants, famous restaurants, and great shops. Here's where Home Alone House was built and people lived in and still do today. Because of the higher income, there's a lot of country clubs in Winnetka. When I say a lot, there's probably 3 or 4. To me, that's a lot. But so there's a lot going on here. Again, you're now dealing with New Trier, because New Trier actually is in Winnetka. So the main school is in Winnetka, and I just sold a house 1 block away. These people were so happy, but it's just an incredible town. And now, famous people. All right, there's Kitty Cheng. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's an actress. I'm not that familiar with her. She lives there. Famous person is Rock Hudson. Do you remember Rock Hudson? This goes way back. Rock Hudson's long gone from our life. But someone who's not and is creating a little stir is Justin Ishbin. Now, he is owns a trading company, multi-billionaire. He owns 5 lots right on Lake Michigan. Now, a lot on Lake Michigan, minimum price is $3 million and up. And that's if it was a tear down. So people don't tear down these houses that are on Lake Michigan. They do redo them. This particular gentleman and his family, they own the Phoenix Suns. They also own, on the other side, the Phoenix Mercury, which is the WNBA team. And I do believe he has some interest in the Phoenix baseball team. But he's a very wealthy man, and he lives in Winnetka. And he's considered, could be one of the richest people in all of Chicago and suburbs. And there's some pretty rich people. Governor Pritzker and the Pritzker family. They own all the Hyatt hotels. They're a multi-billionaire family. So we'll get into the next suburb and show you what's there, as we're just ending Winnetka right now. The number 2 town in the North Shore is Glencoe, right here, right north of Winnetka. And Glencoe has some really wonderful things. Let me show you where it's all located. Now, actually, this road is the toll road, okay? Or 94, excuse me, which is right here. But the here's where Glencoe is. And then from here, actually it goes in a bit, and there you are. And country clubs, beaches, I mean, there's a bunch of them. There's Skokie Country Club. These are all private. So if you don't know anyone there, you want to belong, you got to know somebody, okay? Lakeshore Country Club. But one of the most famous places in all of the North Shore of Chicago is the Chicago Botanic Garden, okay? And you could be a member there. You can go there as much as you want. It's really a large public garden. There's 28 gardens, 4 natural areas, 6 miles of lakeshore, situated on 385 acres. It's a popular destination for both locals and visitors, offering a variety of gardens, exhibits, and educational programs. And it's not too terribly far from Glencoe Beach, which is right here. It's a great beach. It was in one of the videos I did. So again, it's a small population. There's 8,500 people that live in Glencoe. The median income is $353,000. Famous people: Eric Lefkowski, who's the founder of Groupon, Zoe Levin, an actress, and you all remember Fred Savage, right? He also lives there. I think he still lives there. He was, I don't know if he acted once he got past his teen years, but he's a pretty famous guy in Glencoe. But yeah, Glencoe is number 2, and it is sensational. Okay.
Hey guys, it's Barry Newman. As much as I love making these videos, there's one thing I love more, and that's helping families and people from all over the United States make the move here to Chicago. I've helped countless families make the move. So whether you're coming out next week, next month, or even next year, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is right here and linked in the description in case you miss the on-screen pop-up. I look forward to helping you and your family make the move to Chicago.
As we go north, our furthest North Shore suburb is Highland Park, which is right here. Now, Highland Park has 30,000 people living in Highland Park. It has Highland Park High School, which is a great high school. And there's some wonderful, wonderful things that are in Highland Park. One, it has a great downtown. I mean, the downtown area is just tremendous, and the downtown area is right here. Well, let me show you exactly. It's a little bit bigger mass than some of the other suburbs. So here we go. And what's another interesting point of Highland Park is the fact that right as we get up in this area, there's another town, Highwood, okay, which is like in the middle of Highland Park in the north part and Highland Park in the south part. And in mostly Highwood is a town of restaurants. So there's tremendous restaurants in Highwood. People are visiting there all the time. A lot of country clubs. Rosewood Beach is a fantastic beach. I did a whole video on this whole area. Fort Sheridan was a military base that they made into living townhouses and single-family homes. And one, besides having probably the best suburban downtown, a little bit about it is it's easily accessible by the Metro. Downtown Highland Park is pedestrian and cyclist friendly. It offers plenty of free parking. The Central Business District is approximately 106 acres in size, home to around 450 businesses. So it's quite amazing. And also in Highland Park is Highland Park Hospital. So Highland Park Hospital, which is right in this area here, okay, it's a wonderful hospital. And the other part of that is so important is what is known as Ravinia. So let's take a look a little bit where Ravinia is. It's a little suburb within the town, and it comes very close. All right, it's right in here. And here's the thing about Ravinia. It's a popular summer music festival and park, home to Chicago Symphony Orchestra and a diverse range of other performances. The festival attracts over 600,000 attendees annually and is known for its outdoor pavilion, various music genres, and its renowned Stearns Institute, a summer conservatory for young musicians. Ravinia is currently undergoing a $75 million renovation, and the pavilion is the first major project. And it's been the home and the place of origin for a number of notable individuals, including people such as Gary Sinise, Richard Marx, Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corrigan. Highland Park's also the birthplace of Gracie Slick. I know you all know Gracie Slick. So Highland Park is a pretty famous town, and you know who just sold their home there. There's a guy that you may have heard of. He's kind of a basketball player, number 23, Michael Jordan. So Michael now is a resident of Florida. He's left now Highland Park. Part of his family may still be here, but he is gone. So we're going to move on. Just west of Highland Park is Deerfield. Now Deerfield has kind of a big suburb right next to it called Bannockburn. And Bannockburn is a great little suburb that's really considered like Bannockburn, Deerfield, that kind of thing. And let's take a look. So it's directly west of Highland Park. So everything to the right is Highland Park, and everything to the left is Deerfield. Deerfield has its own great high school, and it is really a wonderful, wonderful high school. So we're gonna come here, and then it kind of goes like this. Okay, so here we go with Deerfield. Again, you're seeing things on the map. There's plenty of motels, hotels, really great ones. There's a couple of golf courses in Deerfield that are excellent. Deerfield has its own. It has private golf courses. It has lots of grocery stores. Now, it doesn't have a ton of shopping. It does have its own high school, which is considered one of the top high schools in the whole entire Chicagoland. And of course, there's one of the private country clubs, which is right by Deerfield. And of course, the town that borders Deerfield on the west is Riverwoods. Now, when we're talking about Deerfield, the thing that's really interesting is it's got 18,884,000 people. The high school is rated 10 out of 10. The median income is $235,978. A couple of the famous people are Alex Borstein, the voice of the Family Guy. There's Gail Gand, who's a pastry chef on the Food Network, and Robert Bell, who was Bozo. So those are the famous people in Deerfield. So just south of Deerfield is Northbrook, okay? Right here, Northbrook. And this particular line right here is Lake Cook Road. And why is that important? Well, it's important because the counties change. So there's Lake, which is north, and Cook, which goes all the way past Chicago and pretty far south. So taxes are about 0.5% lower in Cook County. So Northbrook is west of Glencoe and Winnetka, and so it borders right here. Goes down Willow Road, and then really it takes 294, which is the tollway really, and it goes here, a little bit of a jog here, and here you go, and you're right in Northbrook. Now, great suburb. It borders where I live, Glenview. It's got 33,977 people. It's got Glenbrook North High School, which is considered one of the best high schools in all the Chicagoland area. The median income is $137,734. Famous people in Northbrook? Well, currently the coach of Duke University, John Shire, who played for Glenbrook North and now coaches the Duke Blue Devils. Jason Kipnis, who is a wonderful baseball player, professional baseball player, now retired. And you may have known of John Park, the musician. So they live there. Northbrook and is considered like a copy of Glenview, which we'll get to next. And tons of parks, golf courses, tons and tons of grocery stores, excellent restaurants. I mean, and less expensive than its neighbors to the east, which would then be Glencoe, Winnetka. Those towns are much more expensive than Northbrook and Glenview, but they are fabulous towns. So next is Northfield. Okay, Northfield is right here, small town of Northfield. There's 5,543 people who live in Northfield. It's a neutral school, so it's 10 out of 10. The median income is about $180,000. So it's got a nice median income. It does jog a little bit on the other side, so let's take a look. So it's like Willow Road to Hibbard. There's a little bit of a jog here. There's lots of waterways that you'll see here. There's also a lot of car places that are right off of 94, CarMax being one of them. Country Club, Sunset Ridge, and here you go. So it goes right on the other side. So here's Northfield. Again, small, great town, borders everything you could possibly want. If you couldn't get what you wanted in Northfield, you're right west of Winnetka, you're right east of Northbrook, and you're just by Glenview, which offers more than probably any other town. So these are really sensational towns that we're going into, and we're going to go. We have one more town. Our last town is Glenview. Now, Glenview has everything. I mean, it's got the most grocery stores. It may have the most restaurants, maybe not all the best restaurants, but really good restaurants. It also has something that started 25 years ago, and that's the Glen Club. So the Glen Club, which is like this, has its own shopping area, has about 4,000 to 5,000 residents. And by the way, I'm one of them. I've been here 25 years. It's got parks, it's got Lake Glenview, it's just got everything. And people love to come to Glenview for a lot of the things that they may not get in their own little town. But this is a wonderful, wonderful area, subdivision, as we call it. And then there's like 13 subdivisions within that subdivision. Now, where exactly is Glenview? So let's start it from the furthest point. Basically, it's Willow Road to comes to Waukegan, goes down a little bit, right by the highway, goes right near Old Orchard, near it, not in it. Goes down Golf Road, and then we're here. So it's got everything. I mean, there's not much it doesn't have. And the beauty is you're 3.5 miles to the tollway, you're 3.5 miles to the expressway. The tollway will take you right into O'Hare. The expressway will take you right into the city. So when people are going into the city, they're either taking the train or they're driving. So there's plenty of trains, makes things easy. There's always construction of some kind, which they're working on, and it should be done the next few months. But a lot of people like to drive. They need their cars during the day, so they drive downtown. But you do have two ways. Now, some of the really interesting thing is there's a very historic Wagner Farm in Glenview is a preserved working farm and educational center, offering visitors an area where it's mixed use, and they have a lot of different farm animals. They have like every town has a farmer's market. There's a great farmer's market in Wagner Farm. They also in the Glen. Something for kids. The Coles Children's Museum in Glenview is sensational. It offers a variety of interactive exhibits and programs for children ages birth to 8, promoting learning through play. The museum focuses on hands-on experiences in art, science, and role-playing to foster creativity and imagination. So we're here in Glenview. Okay. So once again, to thank you for all the people who have any questions, who like learning about the North Shore of Chicago. Again, we were visiting Skokie, which is here at the southern end, Evanston, which a lot of people know because of Northwestern, Wilmette, Kenilworth, Winnetka, Northfield, Glencoe, Highland Park, Deerfield, Northbrook, and Glenview. Now, again, there's plenty of great towns that are north of here, that are west of here, to live in. A little less expensive too. Further away from the lake always is a lot less expensive. But this is your chance to contact me if you have a question, if you need to know more about anything that goes on in Glenview or in the North Shore. I should say the North Shore, not Glenview necessarily, not just because I lived there, but my experience is in all these towns. It's just not one town. It's really 10, 11 towns. Thanks so much for watching. and learning. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. You can contact me by phone, 847-921-1666, or you can text me, or you can contact me by email, Barry Newman 1666646 at gmail.com. I look forward to any questions you may have. Thank you so much.